Shalowm family, KARDAYAH'S Soul here. I wanted to come and give y'all this quick informational video. This video will change somebody's life. And it's definitely going to change mine, without a doubt. So, let me give you the tea. Red raspberry leaf tea, to be specific, from Walmart, by, I think, Boogaloo, or am I saying it right? I don't know. Boogaloo. Why don't I just look at the tag, huh? Bigelow. Yeah, that's the way you say it. Wow. I messed that all up. Anyway, first of all, total rabbi for joining me today, y'all. All praises to the Most High for this beautiful day. Now, let's get into it. Okay, so I had a dream a little while ago, y'all. It happened 2 days before my daddy passed away. And in this dream, my mom and my husband were standing in my daddy's yard, and there was an SUV parked in my daddy's yard. Now, my daddy's trailer was sitting like this, so the SUV was sitting in the front yard in this direction. So, push came to shove, and at the end of the dream, I remember taking my attention up to the sky. Over in my uncle and my aunt's yard, and above my daddy's house. So, in their yard, above their yard, and above my daddy's trailer. So it was like this. One on this side of the sky, one on this side of the sky. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so anyway, above my dad's house, I saw these moons appear, new moons. Then over by my uncle and my aunt's trailer, I saw 4 more moons. But in their yard, or in the sky above their yard, in the middle of those 4 new moons, all of these 8 moons, 4 above in their yard and 4 above my dad's trailer, all of them were new moons. So for those of you who may not know what a new moon is the first slither of light that comes after you can see no moon in the sky. Oh, I'm sorry if I hit the microphone. The first slither of light that you can see of the moon right after the moon is nowhere in the sky to be seen. And also you can Google this, the new moon. We as Israel, we're supposed to celebrate every new moon. That's the beginning of the month. Okay. So I knew then that I had to go on a search of what the new moon meant. And that's when I found out all this stuff. So I was like, Father, what is the new moon? What's the significance? What do you mean? What do you mean? So before the dream even ended, let me bounce back a little bit. Full moon came up in the middle of the 4 moons that was over my aunt and my uncle's yard. Okay. So whenever I saw that full moon come up, that's whenever I started getting really worked up, like I don't want to say scared, but I was real worked up, and I ended up waking up. So for months, I would trace the new moon, follow the new moon. Anytime there was a new moon, then I would note that. At the end was the full moon. Now the full moon was on March the 28th. I don't know if any of y'all follow the signs of the times, follow the sun and the moon and the stars. Y'all need to do that. Stop being afraid of the sky. Don't let Christianity do that to you. Okay, yeah. The new moon is very important. This is the way that we know that the beginning of the month is here. Okay, so moving on. So I counted 8 new moons, and the 9th moon was the full moon. So whenever I went home from my dad's, when he first passed, I went home that weekend. My mom was asking me, was I pregnant? I was telling her no. You know what I'm saying? I had a dream, and I explained the dream to her. So I came back home. Took a test, no baby. Okay, cool. I'm up here thinking that maybe the dream meant a blessing was coming, or a lesson was about to be learned, or a new opportunity or something like that, because I've been having a lot of stuff happening involving music and yeah, other things in my life, and money coming in, but it wasn't it. So let's fast forward to April. Okay, so whenever April got here, I was feeling like a old pregnant fat lady. And it only like 2 or 3 weeks had done passed since the 28th. I remember saying something to my husband about this pain that was in the right side of my uterus, like a pain that I never felt before. It hurt. And it was like stabbing me like a pin, not like a little small thick pin, stick pin, like a crochet needle was piercing me slowly in my uterus. So I let it went by because I wasn't having any other major symptoms or nothing like that. So once the third week rolled by, I started feeling bouts of sickness, like on and off, just feeling like I'm swimming or something like that. So 4 days ago, which today is the 16th, 4 days ago I took a pregnancy test. And it was positive, but I couldn't really see the line. Now, I wouldn't advise you all to do I'm not going to urge you to do what I'm about to say, but if you want to do it, you can. It ain't going to hurt nobody. It just might not work for you. But the next day, which this would be the second day past when my cycle was supposed to come. No, the third day past when my cycle was supposed to come. I peed on the stick again, that same one, and the line got darker. So I was like, okay, it's official. I'm pregnant. So I put in how far along I was, and I put in when my last cycle was, and it told me the due date was on the 21st, and that I conceived on March the 28th, the night of the full moon. There was a pink moon, some kind of pink something, I don't know what it's called, child, that doesn't come around all the time, but that's what type of moon it was that night. So yes, I did get pregnant on the night that the Most High told me that I would, but there's a reason. So I was all hurt and all crushed up whenever I started bleeding like 2 days ago. I was just real beat up about it. So I wasn't as crushed as I was with the first one and the second one. You know what I'm saying? But like I told y'all, the Most High have a reason for everything that He does, and I can't do anything but go along with what He has in store for me. And I ask Him for understanding, whether I have to cry about it or whatever, and He'll give me understanding clearly by and by. So anyway, so today, after I cried out all through the night as long as I could, and I asked Yahushua, please come and talk to me. Please just come, send your energy, send your spirit, come to me. I need to know what's going on. I don't need to hear from anybody else. I want to hear from you. This is what I told him on account of what my mom said about me having to go to him. I was gonna have to talk to him. Like, I couldn't just go to the angels, and I'm glad that it was specified to come to him, because y'all know that I speak with the angels and I work with them, and it wasn't something that they were capable of handling, I guess. Anyway, I walked up to the window after I asked for understanding the last time, and I quieted my mind and just let spirit take over. And I heard, every time I stop eating meat, I get pregnant. I heard my mind saying this. So I'm listening and agreeing. Then I heard, before I left Savannah, I was pregnant. I knew I was pregnant. I knew, like, after 2 weeks. We weren't doing anything but eating beans. different types of beans on and off. We would put chicken in the beans every now and then, but as for that last week that we were there was no meat. And I had a reason for doing that. It wasn't for me. So anyway, I listened a little bit more. Then I heard and I saw scenes of me rolling around in the bed last week, sick, because I took iron pills. First of all, I only took 4 of them, y'all. That is horrible. I don't know why they tell you to take them things and they make you constipated like that. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I took the iron pills and I was eating a bunch of meat because that's what I was craving. I wanted the meat. So in the video that I made called "Come Let Me Introduce You to the Malak," I was mentioning to y'all that I went on the Daniel fast, and the Daniel fast completely changed my life. So during the Daniel fast, I could eat no meat. That should have been a clue for me right there. So after I came off the Daniel fast, I started eating meat little by little because my system wasn't really ready to handle it. So my husband came to me a few days later and he was like, "Babe, I'm about to stop eating meat." So he stopped eating meat and I stopped eating meat. So during the time that I got pregnant and the weeks before that, starting a little bit before my dad's passing, or a little bit after, excuse me, we stopped eating meat. So my body was primed for me to be able to get pregnant. My hormones started leveling out, like the hair that was growing on me started slowing down and thinning out. And I noticed the change over the few months that we weren't eating any meat. So we started back eating meat. I'm bringing y'all up to today as far food wise. That's eating. That's why I did that. So anyway, we just started back eating meat. The most meat that we have eaten was around my birthday. I was piling it on. I had been wanting chicken wings. I wanted hot wings. I wanted anything spicy that I could get my hand on. I had been wanting fish sandwiches and lamb and all of that. So ever since my birthday passed, I have eaten all of those things. So I got a message from the angels a little while back, maybe through 3 days ago, when I was praying. I was like, because I started bleeding and today is the 3rd day of the bleeding. So 3 days ago, 3 days ago was when I was like, Father, what is the problem? Why is this happening to me? Like, why am I having another miscarriage? Like, what is going on with my body? Why is this happening? I don't understand. Push to today. Okay. So today, after I was seeking Yahweh, seeking, trying to find out what was going on. Could I save the baby? Is there any way that the pregnancy can be saved? Like, is it just a normal bleeding? This was not. I could tell that my uterus was being shed. Okay, so let me put a little side note in here for those of you who do not know how your period works. Your uterus comes out of your cervix. Like, it'll shed the wall. Okay, so you have your vaginal canal goes up. At the top of your vaginal canal, like right here, is your cervix. Above your cervix is your uterus. In front of all of that is your bladder. That's the reason why whenever you get pregnant, your baby pushes up against your bladder. Sometimes they're sitting on it, other times they're pushing up against it because your uterus is expanding, expanding outward. Okay, so your cervix is there and then your uterus is on top of that. Whenever your uterus starts to shed its lining, this is the reason why you need to drink a lot of water whenever you have a cycle. Your bladder pushing up against that and it trying to squeeze through that hole in your cervix is it turns into blood. You notice how you have blood clots? Sometimes that's not blood clots. Sometimes it's tissue. You know what I'm saying? But basically your uterus turns into blood, or it turns into bloody tissue. That's the way your cycle works. If you drink a lot of water and you keep your bladder full throughout your cycle, you'll see that you'll have less blood clots, because they can't. If you try to slide a bean, like a bean that you eat, through this, you see there's no space in between my hands. That's almost impossible. You would have to turn that bean into liquid in order to get it to travel through this small space. It's the same concept with the tissues, or I just say bean because the uterus is, don't mind me. But yeah, if you was to try to push something, it could be anything. It could be some dried rock, a clay rock, and you trying to slide it through. It's not going to go through. You got to turn that into liquid or whatever in order for it to get through such a small space like that. Ain't no rocks getting through that. Okay, I hope y'all got to understand that, because I went on and on about it. But anyway, back to the baby. So I was heartbroken today, and I was determined for this to be the last time that I cried about it, because like my husband said, I apologized to him, because I know that I'm not a broken woman. I know I can have children. I know I can get pregnant. I've been pregnant 4 times, but there's something that is going on with what's happening inside of my body, or something that I'm putting in my body, and the baby being kept. Every single time that I have lost a child, I can tell you that my diet was at its poorest. And it's not even about me having money or how I was living or whatever. It's just what I was putting in my body. So, tip number 1 for you ladies who are pregnant or constantly having issues with babies, you need to stop eating meat, because you need to prime your body for this foreign entity that's coming. You need to try to alkalize your body. We are electric in the inside. Israel, we're not made like everybody on this earth. I've told y'all, there are some people on this earth who are not children of Adam. They are not human beings. They are mankind. So they're not made like us. We cannot eat and drink like everybody else does. In order for us to keep this power burning, this I call it power, this fire burning the right way inside of us, we have to feed it the right thing. Okay? So I'm gonna try to wrap this up. I went to the window and I started listening even harder. And I heard what happened. Whenever I started piling all of that meat into my body, my hormones start acting out of whack. Y'all know that I have had this hormonal issue ever since I was around 14, 15 years old. Whenever I went to the doctor, they told me that I had a hormonal imbalance. But they didn't tell me what it was that was causing it. It was the meat that I was eating. I'm a country girl. We used to eat pork on top of pork, and on top of chicken, and on top of chicken and fish and pork, with a side of pork with some nasty crabs and some nasty oysters and shrimp slapped on top of that thing. That's how it was. And that's the way I got the way I was. I know how I got my hormonal imbalance. It was from me eating meat. This is not a speculation. And I'm going to tell you what meat it was. The hormone-fed meat. My family, my dad's side of my family, we live in the country. We got our food and stuff from the people in the country. Our local butcher or different people in our family would be farming. We would get veggies and stuff like that. I don't even remember when we started going exactly to the grocery store and buying meat all the time. Because my dad used to just bring me home. We didn't go, I know we didn't shop at the grocery store all the time. We always had grocery stores, but our grocery stores sold mostly local foods. But whenever we started shopping and eating a bunch of fast food, and whenever we started shopping at other grocery stores, bigger grocery stores like Walmart, that's whenever I started having hormone problems. I remember whenever my stepmom took me to the hospital, to the doctor, and them people told me I had a hormonal imbalance and they put me on birth control. Now, For those of you who have cysts on your ovaries, if you have ever taken birth control, this is the reason why. If you do not believe me, listen to the next birth control commercial that comes out. The one that says, moms on the go, new moms, old moms, movie stars, all of us use such and such and such to prevent pregnancy. Y'all are doing the wrong thing. Read your Bible. It's a sin for you to take birth control. The Most High destroyed Babylon. Because that was one of the reasons. Our men were giving women concoctions for them to be able to kill their babies so they can keep their shapes. That's in the Bible. It's crazy. I'm trying to have children. So the understanding that and the revelation that came to me was that it was the meat. I saw visions and I heard the master speak to me plain as day to let me know exactly what it was. It was the meat. It's the meat, people. If you think that these people are not sterilizing us through this meat, if you're not eating a cow or a chicken or a goat that's being raised on a farm that is not giving them antibiotics, that is not giving them human growth hormones or whatever is it. If you're not eating meat that is farm raised, like chickens from your own neighborhood, somebody that you know that's not giving their animals antibiotics, or even beef, goat, whatever, then you're not getting clean food. Y'all, this was displayed to me so clearly over these last 2 weeks. Whenever I lost my baby, that was enough for me. Let me tell y'all what helped it to come together for me. Whenever I heard that, I read that angel number, I read that message, and I was talking to my angels about, just being pregnant. Before I started bleeding, the message said, the angels are urging you to stop doing something that is putting your health at risk. What could I be doing that's making me sick? What is it that I'm putting in my body, on my body? What am I doing? Like, I've been fine. What is it that I'm doing automatically now that is making me sick over the last week or so? And I heard just as plain as day, that meat. It's the meat. It's the meat. We shop at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? It's the meat. This is the reason why I keep having miscarriages. Every time I get pregnant, I'm eating mostly veggies. It's the meat. So, I don't know if y'all believe it or not. I've heard so many people I say preach, but Dr. Umar isn't necessarily a preacher, not saying that he said the exact words that I'm saying, but I've heard so many people say that these people are sterilizing us through food. These people are sterilizing us through food. And Negroes aren't the only ones who are suffering. I don't know if y'all noticed that the European race is dying off. Like, they're not reproducing, and a lot of them aren't getting married. They're choosing not to get married, or getting married later due to careers. Look it up. This isn't crap that I'm saying. I looked this up to find out why were they dying off. They are becoming the minority. By the time 2040 gets here, Europeans, and I'm talking about people who Esau, who are bare. How else are they bare? If all of us look the same, how did the Most High make Esau bare? Think about that. For I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places. He cannot hide. How is he bare? Okay, so you look for the people who are bare, who are the descendants of Esau. They're dying off. So we're not the only ones who are being sterilized and not being able to have babies. They are too. Now, if you look at Hispanics and Mexicans, they eat better diets than we do. And you notice that they have a lot of children. I ran across this girl and her husband in Walmart the other day. I wasn't by myself. But they had like 6 little kids right behind each other. Them children was like the age of 9 to 0 months. 0 months. 9 to like 2 months. She literally had a baby that was like a year old and a baby that was like 3 months. They're not eating what we're eating. Yes, these people eat meat, but they ain't running to the chicken every time you see them. They're not running to the beef every time you see them. They eat a lot of beans. They eat a lot of veggies. They eat a lot of rice. Their pasta is made out of pure durum wheat. I'm telling y'all this, so write it down so you'll know what to get and what to kick out. We got to get rid of the meat. I am not losing no more babies if I can help it. Y'all willing? And this time I had a warning. I did not listen. The father stopped me from eating meat, and once I stopped, it came off of that fast, my husband even said, "Bae, let's not eat meat." And I went from saying, okay, I'm going to eat meat once a month to tearing through. Y'all, I have eaten so much meat in the last month and a half until it's ridiculous. I can say that myself. That's on my part. And it does not end well. So this is my testimony. I hope somebody believes it. Test it, look it up, whatever, however you feel like you might need to get understanding of this situation. I can't pull your leg and make you believe me, but I can tell you for definite what happened to me. All right, so I love y'all, and with that being said, I'm gonna say shalom, family.